All right, with these questions, remember, we're adding something to the passage that's not there, but we do want to make sure we focus on the claim. So they're going to give us a lot of information, but try to stay especially focused on the claim that these people make. So these psychologists have argued that experiencing awe, a sensation of reverence and wonder typically brought on by perceiving something grand or powerful, can enable us to feel more connected to others and thereby inspire us to act more altruistically. Okay. The Keltner, along with these other people, claims to have found evidence for this effect in a recent study where participants were asked to either gaze up at exceptionally tall trees in a nearby grove, reported to be a universally awe-inspiring experience, or stare at the exterior of a nearby nondescript building. After 1 minute, an experimenter deliberately spilled a box of pens nearby. What? Okay. So here's the claim. They found evidence. Right, so they either looked at the very pretty trees or the dull building, and then they spilled some pens. So my guess is that the tree people, I don't know, kept looking at the trees. Right? Because if the trees are so amazing, then the pens are not going to be enough of a distraction. This is me guessing. I could be wrong. But let's see. Participants who had been looking at the trees helped the experimenter pick up significantly more pens than did participants who had been looking at the building. Okay, maybe that's it, right? Let me go back a second. Their awe is brought on by perceiving something grand. It can enable us to feel more connected to others. So I should have gone back to that. So there you go. So if you're feeling awe, then you're going to help the pen people. Right. Okay. Yes, this is probably not important. So yeah, the tree people helped. That seems right. Well, let's look at the other choices. B, participants who helped the experiment to pick up the pens used a greater number of positive words to describe the trees and the building in a post-experiment survey than to participants. What? No. This is misunderstanding the experiment. The point of the experiment is they were either looking at the trees or the building. So the people who were looking at the trees would not have any words to describe the building. That's not part of it. So this is just mixing the two groups. C, participants who did not help the experimenter pick up the pens were significantly more likely to report having experienced a feeling of awe, regardless of whether they looked at the building or the trees. Well, no. I mean, again, the experiment's about the trees versus the building, right? They're trying to separate people who experience awe from people who don't. So if you're saying that it doesn't matter what they were looking at, then you're probably missing the point. So that seems wrong. And then report having experienced a feeling of awe. No, again, this is separating the experiment from the result. Or the desired result, I guess. Participants who had been looking at the building were significantly more likely to notice that the experimenter had dropped the pens than were participants who'd been... see, this is honestly what I thought originally, but obviously it was because I was missing this other piece here. So I'm really thankful for choice A for coming first and kind of setting me straight. But even if it had been flipped and choice D had been choice A and vice versa, I still am always looking throughout all the choices to make sure I'm not missing anything. So this is a little bit of a trap, because if you're like looking at the trees and the trees are so pretty, you're not going to look down. It makes logical sense, but the point of the experiment is that there's this connectedness to others. That's something I kind of ignored originally, but definitely matters. Yeah, so this is definitely A. I get why D is wrong. It's just misunderstanding or I guess leaving out a very important piece of this. So this is a tricky one for sure. I can see people getting this wrong, but it goes to show, we want to make sure we truly understand the experiment, and maybe there's a little bit of a definition piece that might come at the beginning that we need to understand as well.